Hi everybody. We are going to do a review today.
You might want to scoot over just a second.
We're going to review Man of Steel 1. This is the long-awaited Brian Michael Bendis debut on Superman that everyone has been excited about for months. I made Jenna read it where she could do a review with me. She was very upset about the ads.
Yeah. Why would people do that? It takes you out of the story. It's a bad idea. They should either put them at the beginning or at the end.
Jenna has decided that she's going to change the comic industry after 90 years.
Well, no, okay, you can keep saying what you're saying and I'll find.
She's upset that ads are not either all at the beginning of the book or at the end of the book.
Like, look, this is in the middle of the story. That's ridiculous.
She just now noticed this. I can't make this up, guys.
No, I don't think it's always been quite that bad.
It has. Okay, so we're going to review this book. I'm going to let Jenna go first. I have given her no previous thoughts of mine and tried not to influence her thoughts on this in any way. So what did you think?
Okay, so you just said that this was like the long-awaited story.
Yes, it's the first part of the story.
Okay, so if people have been waiting for this for a really long time, but I really feel bad for everybody. Because this was so underwhelming, and okay, it was very scatterbrained as well. Like, can we give spoilers?
Yeah, there's going to be spoilers.
Okay, so this was my synopsis of the book. So basically we start out, and this guy is like gonna beat up this other guy, and
she's talking about Firefly and Killer Moth.
Yeah, and Killer Moth. And so you're like, oh snap, something's about to go down. And then Superman comes out, and he obviously saves the day or whatever. So then all of a sudden he's like, I hear a lady singing. It sounds so beautiful. And so then you have that little story in there. So now we have the Killer Moth thing, the lady singing. Oh shit, now this building is on fire. I gotta run. I gotta go there and save the day. So then he goes to stop the fire, and then he's like, oh, it could be arson. And so
he said it was arson.
Oh, it was arson, and we meet this new character, and she's obviously got the hots for Superman, and so she's in there as well.
Let me show you this new lady. This is
Captain somebody.
Yeah, Captain. I forgot her name already. Her name is Captain Melody Moore, which I like the alliteration there. And Melody is a redhead, so he's going after some Peter Parker type girls now.
And then,
actually, Superman doesn't show any interest in her other than professional courtesy, but she's obviously got a crush.
So then we go back to the whole Clark Kent thing. He's writing a story about the arson or whatever. And Lois Lane, I don't know what her deal is, but she just doesn't seem very interested in her family whatsoever. Well, then they see this bright light. Well, all the while this is going on throughout the story, in another world, they're trying to build, this guy wants to blow up Krypton. So you have, I don't even know what to call that, all of that little stuff. It didn't seem like it had a very good direction. There's a million different directions that this story is going in. And when you look at the cover of this book, I'm not really that shocked that it was just kind of like word vomited onto the page is how I feel. When you look at the cover, can I show? Yeah,
Rogol Zaar.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the new
He's
villain's
the villain,
name.
Yeah.
This is Rogol Zaar. He's the new big bad.
He wants to get rid of Krypton.
Nobody on the cover is in the book.
Yeah, except Superman.
I caught that too.
So that kind of when I looked at that, I was like, okay, I was thinking we're gonna have this great superhero get together. They're gonna, 1 minute, let's pause this. Okay, so all in all, if I had to just say what I thought about the book, I just didn't like it. I mean, was it terrible to read? No, but did it have a good direction or a good thought process? No. And if it was up to me, if we repurchased the next book, I would say no. I mean, you got your underwear on the outside of Superman, but other than that, you didn't get anything. So, what's your opinion?
Okay, the thing that I really loved about this story was what Jenna was talking about with Firefly and Killer Moth. At the beginning of the story, it becomes apparent that Killer Moth has stolen money from Firefly from a job that they did together, like a robbery or something. And he's hiding out in Metropolis. Well, Firefly comes up and he says, "Where's the money?" is what he says to Killer Moth. And Killer Moth says, "Hey, you can't say that here," meaning here in Metropolis. And then he explains, this is kind of a place where you have to watch what you say because Superman's always listening. Number one, I didn't like that because it does bring a Big Brother element, but I did like the fact that it presents Metropolis as this is a safe place if you're not a criminal. This is a place where the bad guys are afraid to be because Superman's there. And Superman does hear him. He comes, swoops in, and takes them both to jail. So there's a lot going on right there in the fact that it's establishing how Metropolis treats villains, how safe it is to be a criminal in Metropolis, and the answer is it's not safe at all. Using the wrong phrase will get you put in jail, which, again, that gives Superman a very authoritarian feel, which I don't like because that's not Superman, but it's the world that's presented. After that, we do meet the new fire chief, who I believe may have been the woman singing that he heard.
Well, yeah, because she said that wasn't her only job.
Yeah, I believe that may have been the singer, and this is, again, Melody Moore. She makes a fool of herself. She's starstruck because she met Superman. She's an interesting character, and Bendis writes females very well. So it's an interesting start. She obviously has a schoolgirl crush on Superman, but she's also in a position of power, so she's a strong woman. She's not someone who you would think would giggle, and she chastises herself at one time because she's like, "Thank you, Superman," and screams it, and then he kind of smirks, and she's like, "Oh, right, super hearing, he could have heard it anyway." Then that story moves on, and the story that I think is probably going to be the most interesting is taking place then, meaning before Krypton was exploded. A new villain called Rogol Zar. Rogol Zar is he's petitioning kind of like a galactic committee to destroy Krypton. He says that Krypton is expanding too rapidly, that they're taking up all the resources that other planets in the galaxy need. It's kind of setting Krypton up to be like America is, meaning that they use more than is necessary. They use more than anybody else needs, and they use so much. Hi, Bubba. They use so much that there's none left for anybody else. And that's his problem with Krypton. Well, he is visited by Appa Ali Apsa, who is a Green Lantern, and he's told no. Okay, I'm not sure what the last thing I said was because my son came in here and interrupted, as they always tend to do.
You were talking about Appa Ali Apsa.
Yeah, so this dude, Rogol Zar, wants to destroy Krypton. Krypton is being set as kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like an empire. It's taking up trade routes. It's using resources it's using so much resources that there's no one left for the other people. Yeah. He wants to destroy it. Well, Appa Ali Apsa comes and says, he's a Green Lantern. He comes and he says, "No, we're not going to let you destroy Krypton. That's off the table." And that story kind of ends right there. It's a cliffhanger. He gets mad and like beats a hole in the ground by doing this number. Yeah. So then Clark Kent is writing up a report. He comes home and Jonathan tells him that his mom is not paying attention to him. What was it he wanted?
His shirt fixed.
Yeah,
Sure.
he was outgrowing his costume, and his mom said she's not going to fix it. So he comes and tells Clark. Clark comes in, and they start to kind of bicker with Lois, which not sure that I like this, because while introducing the new character and having him bicker with Lois, it appears, and I might be wrong, that Bendis is going to have maybe a second love interest, which
Yes.
I hate that. Just leave things the way they are. And then as they're all bickering, this bright white light flashes, and that's the cliffhanger. Another thing that I really liked is they showed Jim Lee's original pencils and sketch for Ragul Zar. I'm sorry, I'll learn his name eventually. But they show his original pencils and sketches and go over kind of what they were looking for. One thing that I don't like, and I spoke to one of my friends about this beforehand, who's a big Superman fan, is that I would have preferred somebody who is incredibly smart. Kind of, maybe not necessarily another Lex Luthor story, but a character similar who is a human and doesn't have to rely on brawn and strength to be the main villain. It appears that they're trying to present Rogel as someone who is both very intelligent and very strong.
Kind of like Bane?
Well, yeah, kind of. Just like an intergalactic version, I guess. But they're trying to present him as someone who's very intelligent and very strong. So that's okay. I just didn't want another big, I'm a monster, I'm going to fight Superman type thing. And I feel like that's what we're getting. We'll see how the story unfolds. Overall, with Man of Steel, it was just building. There wasn't a lot here that would blow you away, and there wasn't a lot here to hate. It was just kind of, here's the first chapter in this story. Now, like what Jenna said, because there was nothing to blow you away, I wonder if a lot of people are going to jump on board for the second issue, if they're going to let the slow build go, or if they're going to say, there really wasn't that much there, and not give it a second shot.
I mean, the only reason why I would read it again would be the sake of the video. Otherwise, if it was for me, if I had to purchase it, I would save my $4 and buy something else. Keep it. Because I didn't think it was that good. And it's like, the really sad part is like, if people have been waiting for this, and then you present them with this, it's like, yikes.
Well, this is the second Bendis story. He had a couple page story, not a whole book, in Action Comics 1000. And I kind of walked away from that feeling the same way as, okay, well, where are we going with this? So he's had 2 chances to wow us so far. I don't think he has. I think that it's just kind of a run-of-the-mill story. Certainly, and I was really enjoying the Superman stories beforehand. I enjoyed the family dynamic of Lois and Jonathan and him, which we got to see a little bit of that at the end. But what we saw was
more dysfunctional. Family.
Yeah, it was more dysfunctional. But yeah, I'll check it out next week, of course, and I'm going to try to start doing a review a day on comics for this channel. I don't know if I can force Jenna to read a comic a day, but I'll try.
Well, I read it. Did I not?
She did read it. So, Man of Steel.
For me, it's a...
Pick it up if you want a good jumping on point for Superman. And I also want to say this. I had another friend who does not like Superman. He says Superman's lame. That's all he says. And then he bought this for his nephew who likes Superman, and he said he read it to him, and he said, whoa, I have to apologize. Superman isn't lame. The story was awesome. So I guess...
How?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're thinking going in. I honestly expected Bendis to come in and really knock you out with an amazing start to his run. Especially, okay, Now, it's not just any writer taking over a book. Every time a new writer takes on a book, they should try to put their best foot forward. But with Bendis, we had an entire section of DC Comics closed down. Superman shut down. Action Comics shut down. Super Sons shut down. Justice League shut down. All those books, everybody was let go that was on the editorial staff and on the writing and artistic staff. They were all done away with. We're not doing your stories anymore. You don't get to close them. We're bringing Bendis in. We're revamping the entire Superman division based on Bendis's ideas. And then this is what we're presented with, which is a fine story. It is, if I had to give it a rating out of 5, it would be a 3.5. I mean, it's just...
That high?
It's right in the middle. It's a fine story, but there's nothing special about it. And when you have a person who comes in and you literally shut down an entire division for them, I expect a 7 out of 5.
It's forgettable.
Yeah, I expect to be completely blown away. And I think Jenna hit the nail on the head. It's story building. They're building an arc that is going to encompass the next 6 issues and then go into the ongoing series. So it's just the beginning, but it's forgettable. I mean, it really is. And the new star, Ragol Zar, I have to keep looking at his name to even remember it. It's just, I'm going to keep on. It was fine, but it didn't rock my socks.
Well, no, and if that's your first appearance, you got to make it a lasting memory, especially if you want people to keep on. You gotta have them coming back for something, and there was nothing that was worth coming back for me personally.
The cliffhanger was really weak, and I think that's what left me wanting more. Maybe not wanting more, but feeling disappointed. Was literally, I'll show you guys. Literally, all you see is like a white page. It's supposed to be a blinding white light, and you don't know what's behind it. You don't know what's coming with it. Let me pull it open here. That's the last page. That's all you see. You see Jonathan. You see Jonathan, Clark, and Lois. Then it's just Jonathan and Clark, and then it's a white page, and it's fading as it goes. You don't get any explanation of what that is. Of course, that's a cliffhanger, but to me, a better cliffhanger would have been like if the enemy, the new villain is attacking, show the attack, like show him just steamrolling Superman, and then leave that as the cliffhanger.
Well, but how would he know that Clark Kent is Superman?
Yeah, that's a plot thread too. So we don't even know that it is the enemy coming in, because unless there was some way he could sense Kryptonian DNA, then he would be able to sense it with Clark and Jonathan. But I liked Peter J. Tasami's story, what he was doing. I hope I said his name right. Probably not, but whatever. I really liked what he was doing, and I feel disappointed that his series ended for another big mean bad guy. It's essentially a monster, Superman fighting a monster. And not only am I a monster, but to raise the stakes, I think they're getting it, I blew up Krypton. So they're retconning that instead of environmental disaster caused by their own greed, they're retconning that this guy blew up Krypton because he's just such a badass.
That kind of confused me as well, but then I figured that they just decided to do away with that story altogether, which they do often in comics.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure that Krypton was gone like long ago. But okay. I'll go along with this, I guess.
Anyway, Jenna, how many out of 5, how many stars would you give it?
2.
So 2, and that's about a 3.5. It could have been a 4 if there would have been a better cliffhanger, but as it is, we'll see where you're going, Bendis. You got a lot to prove. When you get an entire division wiped out specifically for you, you got a lot to prove, and I don't think you did.
The only
in this
reason why I'll read number 2 is just to prove my point
She wants to prove her point.
that this is gonna stink.
But what if she reads number 2 and it's the most amazing book she's ever read?
I don't think that will happen. It would take a lot for that to happen. Alright, well, this is our review of The Man of Steel, number 1.
By
if you
Brian
have
Michael
read it-
Bendis.
If you have read it, let us know what you think in the comments down below. And
Art by Ian Reyes.
thank you guys. We hope you have a good day. Give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe.
If you've read this book, tell us what you think about it in the comments. Tell us how great it was and that we're idiots, or tell us how terrible it was. Or tell us how, like I tend to feel,
Mediocre.
it was just kind of meh.
Alright, bye guys.
Have a good day.